and welcome to Smash Writing. We are at the halfway mark of the Predator franchise. We are up to Predators. I talked about how Predators 2 was underrated. You can really just stress that with this one. This one, I think, really gets shit canned for no apparent reason. And let's go into those reasons now, shall we? Alright, the movie kicks off with a plummet. We have a guy named Royce. He is in the middle of free fall, and he's slamming the button, but it's slowly tick, 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 and then finally parachute opens. And he hits the ground hard. We get the title card, and he wakes up. And shortly after he wakes up, another guy comes falling. They each pull guns on each other, but that's broken up by a third guy dropping, and his parachute does not open, and he goes splat. And then, before they can work what is happening, a guy opens fire with a minigun, and he doesn't stop firing until Royce is able to flank around him and get him to stop shooting. We get a woman. She shows up. She's got a rifle, and she's kind of watching them for a moment until she realizes, okay, we're not the ones who threw me out of a plane, and we're going to work together. And she's seen more parachutes off in the distance and is leading the way to where she's seen them. While a fifth guy, he's watching on from behind. He's following them along, but he's not coming close yet. They come up on two guys. One in prison orange is fighting another guy. And they stop fighting when the rest of the group shows up, and they realize that once again, they're all together. Nobody's present had anything to do with them falling out of the plane. But they do take notice of the fifth guy, the guy who's been following them. When they get close to him, they realize that he's staring at some kind of giant metal artifact, and nobody knows where they are. They all start walking a bit. Oh no, wait, I lied. There's one more guy. He's in a tree. He's a doctor. He's the only guy there who's not some kind of combat or criminal. But they walk on a little bit. The doctor makes friends with Nikolai, the guy with the minigun, because he saves him from touching a poisonous plant. And Nikolai's like, okay, I'm going to keep my eye out for you out here in the jungle. Royce wants no part of this, but she does stop him enough because she wants to show him something. And there's she puts a leaf down in the little puddle, and it just keeps spinning. And he goes, well, with that and the fact that the sun hasn't moved, they got a problem. But an even bigger mystery, though, is why is the doctor there? They have a Spetsnaz, an RUF, he's a merc, she's a member of the IDF. And then you have a prisoner, a member of the Yakuza, and a member of the cartel. And one doctor. So you have two mysteries going at this point. Where are they? And why is the doctor here in this group of clearly capable soldiers or killers? But they continue on, and they find a bunch of broken open animal crates, which is not a great sight for them, because whatever was inside of them are officially somewhere in the jungle. But while they're examining the crates, the member of the RUF notices the shimmer in the trees. He can't quite make it out, and it disappears when he looks away for a moment. But they get an answer to one of their little mysteries out whenever they get to a clearing, and they look up, and you just see all kinds of planets just outside of filling the sky. At this point, though, the prisoner is getting upset. He doesn't have a gun. He just has a little knife. And he tries to get RUF's gun, and that ain't happening. But they're quickly broken up by these alien-looking animals who cause them to break apart and run. And at one point, IDF, Isabella, that's her name, Isabella. The merc is Royce. And the others don't really use their names that often. That's why I'm kind of using what they are as their names. Isabella almost offs herself because her little pistol is not taking down the threat. But just before he can attack, there's a loud whistle that calls him back, while the other animals were dispatched along the way. Royce points out that this was not a good sign. This was a sign of they're being hunted, and those animals just flushed them out. And that's when they notice the cartel member is missing. And they track down his screams, and he is heavily booby-trapped, and there's no way to get to him. But it doesn't really matter, because he's already gone, and it's the Predators who are mimicking the sounds of him screaming. And they just leave him there. Isabella does try to help him by shooting him. But like I said, he's already gone. And they keep mimicking him even after she shoots him. Follow the animal tracks because Royce wants to find out. Royce thinks it's best to try to find out who's hunting him. And it leads to a camp full of skulls and skeletons and remains. And one predator who's still alive tied up to like this giant log. He comes to and he starts screaming and freaking out. And they notice Royce is gone. And they're attacked. And RUF goes down here. And then Royce jumps out. He opens fire, which allows them to get away. But we see multiple predators are now present. 3 of them are now present. And they're the ones who are hunting them. We catch up with the group. They're swimming into this cave area. And Isabel slaps him, or decks him in the face, actually. Because Royce used them for bait back there. And Royce is like, yeah, I used you for bait because I needed to learn who we were dealing with. And he starts naming off everything he learned. And then turns it around to Isabel, saying, you know who they are. Isabel's like, I don't know who they are. We don't have a name for them. And she tells him the story of Dutch. And she gets the story wrong. There were 2 survivors, not 1. They settle down for the evening. They settle down for a break. And we can eliminate the prisoner here. And this is just like, yeah, I wouldn't want him having my back. They set up some traps, and they sent out the doc as bait. No, they didn't set up some traps. I'm wrong. They realize they're being hunted by something. They send out the doc to bait it out. Kind of have whatever's out there chase the doc. They take it down, and it's an alien creature who was in the animal crates. But they didn't take him out. We meet Nolan, who's decked out in Predator gear. And he takes him back to where he's been staying in this drill kind of deal. And he relearned his story. He's been here for 10 seasons. Every season they dump some more people, and he salvages what he can, and he's killed at least 2, maybe 3 of them. And he tells them what they need to do to worry about how bad the situation they're in. But there's a ship, an alien ship that was on the other side of the camp they were at. But he hasn't gone for it because he sure doesn't know how to drive it. And he's also crazy. He's gone out of his mind. And before he can answer any real questions about it, he's like, I'm going to bed. Nikolai here, at this point, he shows the doctor pictures of his kids, and the doctor does not give the picture back. And the Yakuza member finds a sword. And Royce is planning on going after the ship. And he has the plan. He doesn't know how to fly it, but he's willing to bet that the alien who's tied up to that log, he knows how to fly it, and he'll want to get out too. So that's what he's planning on doing, is they get down to the camp and get him to fly them back to Earth. Which is a great plan. But their whole planning session is broken up by Nolan, who set a fire to knock them out. And so they're trapped in this little compartment area they were all in. And Royce blows a hole in the side of it. Not for them to escape, but to alert the predators of where they are. And the predators come running. And they knock off Nolan at the entrance of the drill. And then they bust open just a small enough area so they can get out and escape, so they don't decease in there, because why spoil the hunt? But the doc ends up getting separated on the way out, and Nikolai goes back to save him, and Nikolai is left there by the doctor. And the predator is about to take him out, but Nolan takes them both with him with some grenades. They just manage to escape the ensuing explosion when they're attacked by another predator who shoots the prisoner. The prisoner's not quite dead yet, and he starts stabbing the predator, which allows the rest of the team to escape. So now we are down to 3 guys left. Royce, the doctor, and... 4. Royce, the doctor, the Yakuza, and Isabel. They're running through a field. They know they're being tracked by one of them whenever the Yakuza guy takes a stand in the field. And he tells the others to go, and one of the predators show up, and he pulls the sword, and they start sword fighting. And the Yakuza member takes out the predator, but the predator takes them down too. So now we are down to 3, and the doctor breaks his leg on a trap. And Royce is like, we're going to leave him. We got to leave him. He's going to slow us down, and we don't have time for this. But Isabel won't leave him. So Royce is like, oh, alright, fine, fuck you both, and off he goes. So she's kind of dragging him along, kind of helping him along, and they both end up ensnared in a net trap and getting dragged back by the lone predator left alive. Then he makes it back to the camp in time to see the other predator cut down, putting his mask on, his gear on, and using his control pad, he starts up the plane, and Royce has already gone off toward the plane. So the big predator, drops the two in the hole to go fight Classic Predator, we'll call him. Classic Predator was on the pole, new Predator is fighting him. And unfortunately, the new Predator comes out victorious. And he blows up the ship as it's taking off. So it looks like Royce is gone. And meanwhile, in the hole, the doctor cuts her with the scalpel that had the paralytic poison on it. It's not going to kill her, but it's going to paralyze her, but keep her awake. Because the doctor is a serial killer. That's why he's here. Because he's a monster. And he's talking about how he's going to become friends with them and hunt people with them. Unbeknownst to him, Royce was not on the plane. And he's back and over the hole. He helps him out. The doctor's playing along still. And that's just long enough, though. The doc tries to attack him, but Royce turns the tables on him. Not quite killing him, keeping him alive, so he can booby trap him like he wanted to originally. And the predator grabs him, the doctor, off the ground, and a bunch of grenades blow up. And it gives Royce the chance to attack the predator first. And he's got fire going all around the perimeter to help fuck with his infrared sight. But eventually the predator does get the upper hand on him. Isabella shoots him, though, to get him off of Royce. And the predator shoots back this little cleaver into her shoulder. And Royce finishes the job, though, leaving just the two of them alive. And more parachutes come down. And it's time for another season to begin. And that is Predators. I love the idea. I love the idea of this preservation planet where predators can take all the champions that they want to fight, the best of the best, go to this place to be hunted. I love that idea. I love the idea of different alien species. I like the idea of different styles of predator in Yautja, but at the same time, you can't go killing the classic predator on me. The classic predator is the best predator. I was not a huge fan. Like, the masks and everything look cool. It's after he takes off the mask, it's like, that's not the predator I know and love. It's fine, but, classic predator all the way. It'll probably not be the last time you hear me say that. The action in this was smooth. The actors in this were fantastic. Lawrence Fishburne playing Crazy Nolan was an excellent casting choice. Then you get like Danny Trejo, who was a cartel member. We don't get him a lot in this movie, but we do get him. It's fantastic. We get Mahershala Ali. I butchered that name. He was RUF Mombasa, I believe is his full name. But we got to talk about the Yakuza member. He was played by Luis Ozawa Changchin, I believe. The interesting thing about this guy is that in the audiobook, Ultimate Aliens vs. Predator Ultimate Prey, first off, there's a story in it called Koite, made up by Jonathan Mayberry and Luis Ozawa, and it's a sequel to Predators based off of one of his relatives. One of the Yakuza's family members, I think it's his brother, is actually dropped off on the planet, and he has to fight predators now too. You should go check out that book. But I do wonder if that's the same Luis Ozawa. I hope it is. And it would be a funny little tie-in too. I don't have any cons. I really don't have any cons to talk about. I liked Adrian Brody's portrayal as Royce. I like that addition because he's ripped. He got ripped as hell for this movie. He's not as buff as Arnold, but how many people are as buff as Arnold? Alice Braga was a really interesting character as Isabella. I loved everyone. Topher Grace's doctor, his turn into I am a psychopath was excellently timed. Just had a great time with Predators. Let's give it an A. This movie was a blast. I know eventually... Actually... that wall's coming next. But I enjoyed my time with Predators. If you haven't watched it or you were hesitant to watch Predators, don't be hesitant. Go watch Predators. It is an A tier movie. And with that said, have a good day, evening, night, afternoon, wherever you are, have a good one. Bye-bye.